Rush Poker is the new exciting poker format from FullTiltPoker.com, and in this video I'm going to share with you 7 profitable strategies for beating the Rush Poker format. Now, if you've not come across Rush Poker before, it's essentially a ring game with one big difference. Instead of playing against a single table of opponents, you're playing against a large pool of opponents across multiple tables. How that works is as soon as you fold a hand, you're no longer active on the table, you're rushed off, given a new table, some new opponents and a new hand. And what that means is that you're constantly in the action, you're getting more hands in per hour, and you can sit back and wait for those premium starting hands and have a lot of fun while you're at it. But of course it does mean that you need to alter your strategy. Now, in this video I'm going to share with you 7 strategies. I'm going to talk very briefly about premium hands, playing in position, stealing from the button and from the cutoff, avoid limping in at all costs, avoiding playing marginal hands, not defending the blinds, and finally taking notes on your opponents. And at the very end of the video I'm going to give you a super secret tactic which will give you a real edge on your opponents in the Rush Poker format. In Rush Poker, your opponents are going to be folding most of their marginal hands, so you need to wait around for premium hands to have an edge. Aces, kings and queens are of course going to be profitable long term. Ace king and ace queen, while profitable long term, need to be played with an air of caution. You're going to be up against aces or kings more often than you would in a standard ring game, and of course ace king and ace queen are drawing hands. If you miss the flop, you do need to be cautious, as you need to with middle pairs like jacks, tens and nines. Again, they will be profitable long term, but exercise caution, especially if there are overcards on the flop. When you do pick up a strong starting hand, make sure that you're raising pre-flop. You don't want to allow people with a marginal hand the chance to outdraw you after seeing a cheap flop. So raise pre-flop, and then on the flop a continuation bet will allow you to pick up most of the pots there and then, rather than seeing the hand all the way to showdown and risking being outdrawn. Even though the blinds are small and you will get re-raised from time to time, I've found that a long-term profitable play is stealing from the button and sometimes from the cutoff, just because people are so quick and ready to fold in this poker format. Limping in with a small pair with the hope of catching a set on the flop can be very tempting, but I would advise against it in this format of poker. Not only is there likely to be a raise behind you, but if you do catch a set on the flop, there's going to be a bigger chance than usual that there'll be a bigger set on the board as well. This is purely because people tend to be playing more pocket pairs than they would in a standard ring game, and of course when it does happen, it's going to spell disaster for your chip stack. Similarly, I would avoid all marginal hands, so small pairs, suited connectors and random big cards. Unless you're in very strong late position and have a good reason for you playing them, they tend to be a negative EV play, as is defending your blinds. In a normal ring game, if someone's continually attacking your big blind, then you want to re-raise as a show of strength and show that you can't be pushed around. But I found it in this format of poker, just because people are only playing premium hands, it tends to be a negative EV play in the long run. And finally, you want to be taking notes on your opponents. Now, this might seem counterintuitive because you're constantly shuffling from table to table, but in fact you're playing so many hands per hour that you'll be up against the same opponents time and time again. It's very quick and easy in Full Tilt Poker to take a note on an opponent. Just right click on their avatar and give them a colour code and type a note if you want to. The sort of things that you can be taking notes on that will give you an edge in the game are if they're constantly stealing from the big blind, or if they're using the auto fold button. If you know those things, then it will give you a real edge later on in the game. Finally, I said that I'd give you a secret tip, and that is simply to be aware that other players can also take notes on you too. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security that just because you're constantly changing tables, other players can't get a read on you. You want to be mixing up your game just a little bit, the same as you would in a standard ring game. Now, Rush Poker is only available from Full Tilt Poker. If you use the bonus code BCP Full Tilt, you will get a 100% deposit bonus of up to $600. You can follow me at twitter.com/pokerfella, and you can find more videos, tips and articles at bestpokersites.net.